Śrīla Prabhupāda की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, रामाचार्य श्रीला ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त जय। श्री श्री व्यास की जय, श्री श्री राधा कुंज विहारी की जय। Jai Jai Radha Krishna ki Jai Jai Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai 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 Śrī Gāvitā ki Jai Grantra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki Jai Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, welcome to ISKCON Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam morning class. So today we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, How Parikshit received the aid of Kali, text number 23. Let us start making motion prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Sarananda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Welcome to ISKCON Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam morning class. So reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Canto 1 Chapter 16 How Parikshit received the aid of Kali, text number 23. Yadvambate Bhurivaratvatara Yadvambate Bhurivaravahara Kritavatarasya Hare Daritri Kritavatarasya Hare Daritri Antarhitasya Smrati Vishrushta Antarhitasya Smrati Vishrushta Karmani Nirvana Vilambitani Karmani Nirvana Vilambitani Yadvambate Bhuri Varavatara Kritavatarasya Hare Daritri Antarhitasya So let us go word by word. Yadva, that may be. Amba, O mother. Te, your. Bhuri, heavy. Hara, Lord. Avatara, decreasing the Lord. Krita, done. Avatarasya, one who incarnated. Hare, of Lord Sri Krishna. Daritri, O earth. Antarhitasya, of who is now out of sight. Smarati, while thinking of. Visrusta, all that were performed. Karmani, activities. Nirvana, salvation. Vilambitani, that which entails. Translation and purport by Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai. Translation. O Mother Earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, incarnated himself as Lord Sri Krishna, just to unload your heavy burden. All his activities here are transcendental, and they cement the path of liberation. You are now bereft of his presence. You are probably now thinking of those activities and feeling sorry in their absence. Perfect. The activities of the Lord include liberation, but they are more realizable than the pleasure derived from nirvana or liberation. According to Śrīla Prabhupāda and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, the word used here is nirvana vilambitani, that which minimizes the value of liberation. To attain nirvana, liberation, one has to undergo a severe type of tapasya, austerity. But the Lord is so merciful that He incarnates to diminish the burden of the earth simply by remembering such activities. One can defeat the pleasure derived from nirvana and reach the transcendental abode of the Lord to associate with Him, eternally engaged in His blissful loving service. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Ajnana Jana Salakaya Chakshurmritamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Lopakam Mahyam Dadati Swapadantinam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Śrīrūpāṃ Sāgrajatam Sāgana Raghunāthanvitam Tam Salīvam Sādvaitam Sāvadūtam Vaijanam Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Śrīrādhā Krishna Padāṃ Sāgana Lalita Śrī Viṣākhaṃ He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastu Taptaganchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudhireni Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today we will see text 23. Yesterday we have seen in text 22 how the so-called administrators are bewildered by the influence by the state of cunning, and thus they have put all state affairs into disorder. So Bull is asking how, are you now lamenting this disorder? Now the general populace does not follow the rules and regulations for eating, sleeping, drinking, mating, etc. And they are inclined to perform such anywhere and everywhere. Are you unhappy because of this? So today, Bull, the Dharma personified, so it answers that, it says that, it gives a statement that, O Mother Earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, incarnated himself as Lord Shri Krishna, just to unload your heavy burden. All these activities here are transcendental and they cement the path of liberation. You are now bereft of his presence. You are probably now thinking of those activities and feeling sorry in their absence. So, here, Dharma is giving the statement that, Oh Mother Earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead came here just to unload your burden, unload your heavy burden, and all these activities are transcendental. They cannot, they explain the path of liberation. Jai Shri Prabhupāda, Jai Radha Jai Shri Prabhupāda. So, he also, the activities which are transcendental, they cement the path of liberation. They show us like how to follow spirituality and what it leads to. So, Mother Earth is remembering Krishna. In today's verse, Dharma, in the form of a bull, is trying to understand why Mother Earth is so unhappy. He has already suggested many possible reasons for her sorrow. Now he suggests that perhaps she is lamenting because Lord Kṛṣṇa is no longer fully present. This verse also explains that Lord Hari descended as Sri Krishna to remove the heavy burden of earth. His activities are not ordinary material activities, they are transcendental. And simply by understanding and remembering them, one can advance towards liberation and go back to Godhead, back home, back to Godhead. So, let us first think about this question, like why does Krishna come to this world? And does he come because he is forced by the karma? Does he come because he has some unfinished material duty? Does he come like an ordinary conditioned soul? The answer is no. Krishna comes by his own will. He comes out of mercy. He comes to protect the living entities, restore religious principles, and also the most important thing is invite devotees. Take devotees back to the spiritual planet where he resides. So we will discuss two principal subjects from today's verse. It's like why Krishna descends and why the living entity is not meant for independent enjoyment. Why material advancement without understanding Krishna is a defeat, and how understanding Krishna's transcendental activities brings liberation. So first comes first is like why Krishna descends and why are we not meant for independent enjoyment? Krishna descends when religious principles decline. As it is stated in Bhagavad-gītā 4.7, Yada yada dharmasya gāni bhavati bharata abhyuttanam dharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham. Whenever there is decline in religious practice and a rise of revolution, Krishna descends. And Śrīla Prabhupāda compares this to a government taking special action when ordinary law and order got disturbed. When the situation becomes dangerous, the government may introduce an emergency arrangement. So similarly, when sinful activity becomes excessive, the burden of earth increases. The Lord then appears to correct the situation. The word bhara means burden. The earth does not become burden simply because the population increases. She becomes burden when people become excessively sinful, irreligious, and opposed to the laws of God. So Krishna, therefore, appears in this material world to restore dharma, to protect devotees, and also to destroy demoniac influence, to reduce the burden of sinful activity of Mother Earth, and also to remind the living entities of their relationship with Him. The best example is Krishna appeared as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in the mood of Radharani has shown us practically how to practice devotional service and how to develop the love and attachment towards Krishna. So, when we speak about the analogy of government emergency action, when ordinary law is functioning, there is no need of extraordinary intervention. But when disorder becomes widespread, the government must take stronger measures. So in the same way, Krishna's descent is not an ordinary event. He descends when the condition of the world requires divine intervention. One may question like, if the Supreme Lord is completely independent, why would He personally come into this difficult material world? The simple answer to this question is just out of His causeless mercy. He does not need anything from us, yet He comes to reclaim us and take us home back to Godhead. Śrīla Prabhupāda explains that Avatara means one who descends, and Krishna does not originate in this material world. He descends from the spiritual world. The spiritual sky is above the material creation, and the highest spiritual planet is Golok. So Krishna is also called Hari because Hari means the one who removes suffering, illusion, sinful reactions, material attachment, and the obstacles that prevent us from returning to Him. The Lord may take away our material possessions, but that taking away also can be His special mercy. So, Śrīla Prabhupāda cites Krishna's statement that when He shows special favor to someone, he may gradually remove that person's material possessions, as we see even in the life of Śrīla Prabhupāda, how initially his business was very good, it's expanding, and all of a sudden there was a collapse in his business and there was downfall in his business. And but Śrīla Prabhupada did not stop there, did not regret or did not felt so bad, but instead he took the instruction from his spiritual master so seriously, and he decided to leave his place and come to USA, United States, and start preaching the Krishna consciousness to all the Western people. So, Krishna takes away the material possessions because as long as we remain intoxicated by material ownership, we may not seriously inquire about spiritual life. And this material possession is also a form of bondage. And Śrīla Prabhupāda explains this as aham awaken. The conditioned soul thinks like, oh, I am this body, this is my property, this is my family, this is my nation, this is my achievement. Thus consciousness of I and mine creates bondage. Material civilization encourages us to increase possessions, fame, name, wealth, everything. But possessions do not necessarily increase happiness, and in many cases they increase anxieties, worry, tension, maintenance, competition, fear, attachment, and disappointment. And Śrīla Prabhupada contrasts modern material advancement with a simple life. A person may have many machines, vehicles, and conveniences, yet he still remains dissatisfied because the problem is not the object itself. The main problem is forgetting the purpose of life. The main thing of our life, we are forgetting the main thing of our life. If our intelligence, energy and time are used only for eating, sleeping, mating and defending, then the human form of life is being wasted. And suppose a machine or a gadget is invented to save time, then everyone thinks like, oh, we must earn money to purchase it, to maintain it, to repair it, insure it, replace it, and also develop the value about losing it. So the machine may solve one problem, but it had created several problems. So see, one problem leads to many multiple branches of problems, right? So Śrīla Prabhupāda's point is that every modern facility must be rejected. It's not that every modern facility must be rejected. His point is that Śrīla Prabhupada stresses on material advancement without spiritual advancement does not solve the real problems of life. We know what are the real problems of life: birth, death, old age, and disease, right? So, in order to solve those, we have to develop the spiritual advancement and we have to be in continuous rigorous spiritual training, and we have to be prepared for our final state of death. And there are 4 classes of unintelligent activity. Śrīla Prabhupada explains these 4 categories: lazy and unintelligent, busy and intelligent, lazy and intelligent, busy and unintelligent. The most dangerous condition is to be busy and unintelligent. A busy person works day and night, but he doesn't know why he is working, what is the goal, who he was, and what happens to him after that. And keeps people extremely busy, but often without giving them knowledge of the soul. Śrīla Prabhupāda explains that all living beings are children of God. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. Because we are His children, He is concerned for us. He is very much concerned for us. He allows us some freedom, but when we misuse that freedom, we suffer. So Krishna therefore comes to guide each and every one of us. Śrīla Prabhupāda gives another example of children playing in the sea while a government-appointed watchman or security supervises them. The children may think that they are independent, but someone is watching for their safety and someone is indirectly taking care of them, right? So similarly, when we think, I am independent, I can observe however I like, no one is controlling me. But nature is operating under Krishna's supervision. Birth, death, old age, disease, and the reactions of karma remind us that we are not independent controllers. The other analogy is like children playing near danger. A children may be allowed to play in and around the house and residence. But a loving parent establishes some rules. The child may think like, oh, why are there so many restrictions? But the parent knows the danger. Similarly, Krishna's instructions are not meant to reduce our happiness. They are meant to protect us from suffering. Our real identity is the eternal servant of Krishna. Our constitutional position is serving Krishna. Śrīla Prabhupāda refers to the teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnera Nityadas. The constitutional identity of every living entity is to be the eternal servant of Krishna. A person may serve his family, his employer, his society, his nation, senses, mind, ambition, wealth and reputation. But no one is actually independent, right? The only question we have to ask at this moment is like, who are we serving? Like, whom are we serving? When we serve the senses, we will become bounded. And when we serve Krishna, we will become liberated. We become aloof from this material laws of nature. And in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, chapter 18, text 66, Sarva-dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva-bhāpebhyo mokṣasyāmi ma sucāva. So Krishna says, give up all varieties of manufactured beauty and just surrender unto me. I shall protect you. One may think like, oh, is this a harsh command? But not. This is not a harsh command, but it is the request of our Supreme Father. Krishna is saying, you have tried independent enjoyment for so many lifetimes. Now please come back to me. Please get back to your home. You see, like, imagine if small children starts playing and they have some best friends near their house. When they just arrive, their friends arrive, and when he asks like permission from parents, and they agree and they send us. Even children don't care, like even if there is scorching heat or even there is a rain threat also. So also Krishna is saying that Krishna is coming to each and every one of us. You have tried independent enjoyment for so many lifetimes. Now come back to me, let me protect you. So he is asking, he is pleading everyone to come back to him, back to home. Here, as we see in the modern world, the living entity is suffering because he is serving the senses, which Śrīla Prabhupāda describes as abominable masters. Yet we hesitate to serve Krishna, who is our eternal well-wisher. So, in this section, we saw Krishna descends when dharma declines. The earth becomes burdened by sinful activity, not merely by birds. Krishna comes out of his own mercy. We are not independent in us, but we have to be dependent on Krishna. So material possessions can increase bodies. We are always serving someone or something. Our eternal, the ever-existing, everlasting identity is to serve Krishna. Surrendering unto Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is not a loss, but it is the ultimate protection that we can get. So when it comes to the next section, material advancement without Krishna is defeat, but understanding Krishna gives liberation. So the activities of materially observed person are leading to defeat. Śrīla Prabhupāda quotes Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text 5. Parabhavastavad abhota jato yavanna dignasat atmatam. As long as person does not inquire into the nature of self, all material activities result in defeat, or just it's like temporary and it doesn't last so long. The word parabhava means defeat. A person may appear successful in a large house, an important position, wealth, education, family, prestige, influence, etc. But if the person does not know the self, does not know Krishna, and is forced to accept another material body, then the deeper purpose of human life has not been filled. And Śrīla Prabhupāda repeatedly uses the word abodhajata, those born with spiritual knowledge. So, the pure devotees of Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. And this human body is not meant only for doing material facilities. It is meant to inquire ourselves, like self-inquiry, like who am I? Why am I suffering in this world? And why must I die? What is my relationship with God? And how can I become free from repeated birth and death? So, when we think of analogy like when you just visit some place and when you book a hotel or some lodge for some temporary stay for 2 or 3 nights, and in that, but if you waste your time by spending entire night just to repainting the walls, replacing the furniture, decorating every corner, and arranging permanent storage. So, that is just a waste of time and energy, because anyhow, one day you have to leave that room, right? You cannot stay there forever. It is after some time, the in charge or the owner of the company, they come and they react to it. Here, when we see the hotel room or lodge room, when the person has to check out, then they make sure like everything must be left behind and none of them are missing, and Prabhupada's covered. Also, here it's like just decorating the temporary. So similarly, we may spend our whole life taking care of our body, decorating our body. Not only like minimal care, but some people extensively they use this body for various purposes, like they continuously on a rigorous training, they take to physical fitness and they do constantly for some people like 8 to 10 hours per day. So they constantly do, and they are completely like they are very much attached to their body. But eventually one day we just have to leave, right? The death comes when the death approaches us. It forces us to leave everything. And here the lesson is not just irresponsibility, the lesson is proportion. We must maintain the body, family and occupation responsibly, but we should not forget the eternal purpose of life. We should keep we should try to keep every family member of ours in Krishna consciousness in either the way. Either they accept prasadam, or they hear the kirtans, or through association of other devotees. So, material security is an illusion. And Śrīla Prabhupāda explains that people attempt to create security through bank balance, properties, health insurance, family arrangements, social status, and national strength. But yet, is there any guarantee that you will be protected for sure? No. At any moment, circumstances may change. Disease can attack you, or death can come. Political conditions can change. Economic conditions can change. Therefore, material security without spiritual security is incomplete. It's like if you want to ride some bike or some electric car, if you want to drive an electric car, then you should see like where are those charging points and all, right? But if you find also it is very rare. So when we see all these external conditions like disease, death, economic, political conditions, a person can believe that I have created a safe arrangement. So when you think of riding a bike or an EV vehicle, imagine if you are starting on a full battery, and imagine if you are starting on a low level of battery. So if we start with high level, eventually our day goes in a very smooth manner with all the blessings of senior excellence. Here, so that is the reason mentioned here that external conditions should not influence our heart and mind. Also, Śrīla Prabhupāda explains that people often commit sinful activities to create material facilities, but they do not consider that they may have to suffer the reactions in the next life. Because whatever we do, like whatever good or bad we do, that karma is being accumulated and added into our accounts. The only thing that has no reactions to the activities is the devotional service, akarma. So, here we see many people in current society make arrangements for retirement, insurance, education, vacation and emergency. But these are all for externally, like for body and some internal decisions. But how much arrangement have been made for the eternal soul? What kind of care are we giving to the soul? So we need to understand what is pleasing to Krishna is pleasing to our soul as well. Because in our soul, Krishna is present as Paramatma. So, the question which is asked before, like how much arrangement can we make for the eternal soul? So, it's not meant to create fear, but it is meant to awaken our intelligence. It is meant to sharpen our intelligence. If our intelligence is sharpened, then we don't have to deal with n number of problems in n number of circumstances. It gives us when our intelligence guides, and when we follow that step, our life becomes short. And one more thing is like forgetfulness of God is foolishness. Śrīla Prabhupāda gives the example of someone closing his eyes and thinking, now there is no danger. So, it is so foolish that, but closing the eyes does not remove danger. So, similarly, a person may say, I do not believe in karma, oh, you guys say this, you guys say that. I don't believe in karma. I do not believe in God. I do not even think that I may get a human form of life in the next life. Because we don't know, out of 86 lakhs species, we don't know what could be our birth in the next life. But not only of belief, but if a disbelief, not trusting something or someone, does not change reality, right? Even if you trust or even if you develop that belief on other person or other thing, one day even that is also a temporary condition. So everyone has their own unique journey to go back to Godhead. So a rabbit may close its eyes when danger comes, but the danger remains, right? Because it is just covering by herself, and when danger comes, even if you see the example of a tortoise, see if when everything is normal, sitting peaceful, it comes out and it crawls on the ground. Anytime if you could sense the time when an earthquake is supposed to be happen, then how deep will that birds will react? They will flew away from as far as possible, right? Our modern civilization tries to hide death, suffering, old age, karmic reaction, and even our dependence of God. Because these realities cannot be removed merely by refusing to thinking about them. It is not ideal practice also, because our senses needs to be engaged, and when it is engaged in devotional service to Krishna, then the senses will also get spiritualized. So our real problem is repeated birth and death. When you got stuck in the loop of birth, death, old age and disease, and when you leave the body, then you will be able to find, as per whatever the activities that you have performed in the day, and at the end of the day there will be like you have to leave this material world, and you don't know where to go, and at that time you even don't know like how much attentive we are in the chanting and how much we are dedicating our time to Krishna. So this human form is meant for Brahma Jignasa, Atato Brahma Jignasa. It is an inquiry from absolute truth. So if we use the human body only for material absorption, we have to accept another body. Because in that human form of life, you did not even utilize the human form of life. Some people, they are well trained and they are ready to do anything and everything for Krishna. But it is not the same case in each and every one of us. Because some people may initially follow something and later come here, like they take up the chanting, they take up the service, and right after then they decided to leave the place and keep everyone in some anxiety or depression, right? When we see the example of Prahlad Maharaj, how many problems does he have faced from his own father Hiranyakashipu? He was put into a pit of snakes and he was thrown off the cliff and he was burned along with his paternal aunt. But still, even in the midst of all these dangers, he just prayed to Lord Hari. And he was able to see at that time the Supreme Personality of Godhead is within everyone. So, one of the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj is Naivod Vijay Par Duratjaya Vaitaranyas Tvar Virya Gayanam Amritam Arvichitta. Prahlad Maharaj says that he is not disturbed by material existence because his consciousness is immersed in the nectar of glorifying the Lord. So we must take the example like how the saintly personalities do the offering and then offering and with a great love and devotion offer it to Krishna, and after Krishna accepts that, it becomes prasadam, and the remnants of prasadam creates a lot of change in our consciousness. It brings us slowly transformation happens within ourselves, and we will be able to realize more and more about Krishna consciousness. Because this consciousness, which has to be, we have to be trained in this consciousness, because when we leave this, when we have to go to spiritual planet, our consciousness should be fixed on Krishna, and everything that we do is for Krishna. We have to do on the voluntary basis, not like someone says like, oh, do this, Prabhu, do that. No, our heart has to be purified, and we have to develop we all have the love for Krishna. But we have to awaken that love for Krishna consciousness and try to serve Krishna eternally. So, a devotee does not say that Krishna, remove every difficult circumstance, then only I will serve you. No. Pure devotee says that whatever the circumstance can be, let me remember you and serve you. Even when we see Kunti Mahārani prayers, how she prayed to Krishna, Krishna, please give more and more obstacles, more and more calamities, because in that difficult period, I will be able to remember you more and more. So that is the mood of pure devotee. So I would like to conclude today's class by stating few takeaways. So Krishna descends to this earth planet just to make sure it's all about out of his own mercy, and he comes to protect devotees, restore dharma, and reduce sinful influence, and call the conditioned souls back to him. The burden of the earth is so sinful, and in order to relieve the mother earth, he comes to this planet, and also that's only not the reason, but also many innocent souls, many innocent devotees, he wanted his innocent children to get back to him, and enjoying the sweets of life. And we must understand that we are not independent enjoyers, we are eternal servants of Krishna. When we serve the senses, we suffer. But when we serve Krishna, we become liberated. Material advancement without self-realization is a great loss and defeat. And Krishna consciousness is not merely problem solving, but it makes us remember and serve Krishna in both favorable as well as difficult conditions. Understanding Krishna brings liberation, and liberation can begin right away when you can start devotional service to Krishna. And preaching is the higher service. Chanting, distributing prasadam, sharing books, and helping others remember Krishna are direct participation in the Lord's mission. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu aspired that at each and every town and corner of globe, the holy name has to be spread, and it will be spread. So let us all strive to it, and let us try to be sincere in our sadhana and also help the others in getting to the process, and try to engage in the service of Krishna. And by it all happens due to the mercy of Krishna, and He empowers each and every one of us. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Hare Krishna. You want to have any questions, comments, realizations?
No, I'm like you said, like at the end, we were discussing it yesterday, devotional service is the way and stuff. And so, everything that we're reading, chanting, purifying, everything we're doing leads to this service to Krishna with love and devotion and stuff. So, we tend to put impediments in our way. Whether knowingly, unknowingly, somehow or another, with so many excuses, but, ultimately service to Krishna is what's most important and stuff, so in the most loving way possible. And if everyone works for his pleasure, then that's it, there's no... there's no discipline, so, very nice one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Hare Krishna.